So we can see, right, the market had been moving down here. So let's say we get a buy signal right there. So we want to get into the market, but we want to wait until the close, right, until the bar closes higher than the previous bar's high. So for example, right, there we go. So this bar here closed higher than the previous bar's high. Right? So this would actually be, the bar that we get into the trade with. There you go. Use a little green triangle there. All right, so that would actually be the entry bar that actually submits the entry order, right? So we got the buy signal way back here, right? But we can get BlackBird to hold off on submitting that entry order until we get a bar that closes higher than the previous bar. Now, of course, you can't submit a stop. Well, it depends on your broker, but NinjaTrader says that you can't submit a stop below the market. All right, so you'll have to pick that fight with NinjaTrader, but depends on your broker. In my experience, it depends on your broker whether or not you can submit a stop, below the market there. So since the bar is going to close above the previous bar's high, we're going to go with, and let's cancel that, we're going to go with a market entry, just so we don't have to deal with NinjaTrader's error messages. So, all right, so we'll go with the market entry order. So now we want to go into the place after, and we're going to create this secondary requirement here of the bar having to close above the previous bar's high. So to do that, we can use the price versus indicator, right? And again, just think of the price versus indicator as something a little more generic, right? It's input A versus input B, right? So input A, right, that's going to be the close of the current bar. And input B is going to be the high of the previous bar. So we're going to open this up, and we're not using an indicator value. We want prices, right? And we want, so for a long, we want the high of the bar, right? So we're comparing the close to the high of the bar for a long. And if it was a short, then we'd be comparing the close to the low price. And the look back period, we want 2, because we want to look back 1 extra bar, right? We want to look back at the previous bar. So just set that to 2. And we're going to leave the processing to single value. Right. And that's it. That's all we need. If you wanted the close to be, say, like 5 ticks above the high of the previous bar, then you could go in and add an offset to this, right? So we could take the high price and add 5 ticks, right? So it would take the high of this bar and add 5 ticks. And then we'd be comparing the close, right? The close of the bar to that high price plus 5 ticks. Okay, so that's how you can make sure that there's a differential, between the close and the high of the previous bar, right? Just by simply using the offset and adding an offset, to whatever bar price you want there. So, but we don't want that. So we'll just set the offset back to 0. Okay, so we're good to go there. And now for a long trade, we want A above B. So we don't want equals. So we're actually going to make sure that this is A above B. So that way the close has to be at least one tick, right, above the high, because it's not going to equal. It has to be above it. And so for the short, that's going to be A below B, right? And yeah, there we have it. All right, so let's go test this out. Let's see. All right, so I'm on a 10-second chart here, and let's go long. All right. So we have to wait for a bar to close above the high, and then our market entry will get submitted. Tell you what, it's really nice when the market works with you. Perfect. Look at that. The market only took a couple of bars, you know, to create that condition that we're looking for. That's so nice when the market works with you. So, all right. So there we have it. So let's take a look at this. I'll leave this open here. So again, we use the place after to add that delay mechanism, you know, of waiting for the close, you know, for a bar to close above the high or close below the low, depending on the trade direction there, right? And again, that was the price versus indicator trigger condition that we used there.